So as everyone can see from the title of my prezi, I'm here to talk about social media, kids, and responsibility today. And before I really get into the presentation, I just want everybody to take a quick look at this number on the calculator, 685 million. And I was wondering, I know you guys had some time to kind of stare at my screen a little bit, but I was wondering if anybody had any idea what they thought this number might represent in terms of social media.
The number of people using social media.
Number of people using social media. Anybody else want to throw something out there?
The number of posts every day.
Isn't that just the number of people on Facebook?
That is the number of people active on Facebook. There are about 7 billion people on the planet. That means that 1/10 of them are on Facebook, or twice the US population. I think we all know that social media is really huge. Everybody kind of knows everyone's using it. But I think that number really says something about social media and how important this issue is when we're talking about students. And really quickly, I want to take a quick look at the Common Core standards. I know that they are very tech heavy, and we're all aware of that. Even for second grade, we're talking about, with guidance and support from adults, students being able to use a variety of digital tools to produce and publish writing and to collaborate with peers already in second grade. Also being able to gather relevant information from print and digital sources. And I don't know if everyone here is aware of this or not, but APA style and MLA style citation already has a tweet citation style. So that's, kind of where things are heading. For 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, we're looking at being able to present in different media formats and also using different multimedia components, visual displays and presentations for clarity and information. And by the time kids get into high school, they're being asked to make strategic use of digital media in presentations, to enhance understanding, to share evidence, and to create interest, kind of like we're hoping to do with this prezi. And this number it just amazed me. I had to put it out there. According to Pew, 73% of teachers in the US are utilizing cell phones for activities in the classroom. That seems really high. But then when I kind of thought about it for a few minutes, if you think about using your phone for a calculator, or being able to access a dictionary or a thesaurus just for a quick minute, I mean, I don't know. Now, outside of the Common Core standards, what I really want to address today is the AASL standard, which says that we're responsible as librarians for teaching our students to practice safe and ethical behaviors in personal electronic interaction. And whether you're talking about usage inside the school or usage outside of the school, this is still information we need to share with our students. So what kind of issues surround responsible social media usage? Well, it really runs the gamut. In the younger grades, you're talking about information sharing and safety and privacy. By the time kids are getting into the middle school years, you want to definitely be talking about social communication skills. Just because a person's not standing in front of you, if you type something, it doesn't mean you don't still hurt someone's feelings, and that's a very big message that kids have to get. Cyberbullying, and then of course as you get into the older grades, you're talking about sexting, abusive texting, and controlling your online reputation. For teachers, some of these issues might be the controversy and sensitivity surrounding discussing some of this with students, and also being aware of their own online presence. Because students are going to look for us on Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest. We need to be aware of what we're putting out there for students to see in the social media world. So what kind of numbers are we talking about in access and usage? Well, 95% of teens ages 12 to 17 are online. And of that 95%, 80% of US teens are on social media sites already. We saw the numbers for Facebook, and you might want to know that already 100 million people are on Instagram, which actually just launched a little over a year ago. 77% of 12 to 18-year-olds have a phone, and 63% of teens text every day. And girls are by far the worst offenders. Girls 14 to 17 average 100 text messages a day, which I don't know how they find time to do that. And in case anyone was wondering, this is not a gender issue. It is not a race or ethnicity issue. It is not an SES issue. Really, these numbers are very close regardless of who you are as a person. you can see it's less than 10 percentage points in most places. The only time we really see a difference is in the age category, and obviously the younger kids are really ramping up. So you can kind of see that. So how responsible are teens on social media right now? Well, they don't start out very responsible on social media, so we need to get our message across to them early. But as teens do get older, the good news is that the oldest group of online teens, those somewhere around 17 who are already applying for jobs or applying for colleges and universities, they do stop and think about what the content is they're putting online and how it might reflect on their reputation. 67% of online 17-year-olds say they withheld content from the internet or from social media that they worry would damage their reputation. So it's good they're already out there kind of thinking about this. And we need to stay positive. I mean, a lot of people worry about the negative influence of social media on kids. But we need to remember that social media encourages collaboration among teens. And it's an engaging form of communication. Kids already as young as first and second grade are using a tool in schools called Edmodo, where they go online, the teacher puts an assignment on there, they comment on it, their peers comment on their comments, and it's exciting for them. They like to feel like big kids. It's relevant and meaningful in the futures of our students. They're using it now, they're going to be using it in the workforce later, and the tools that we give them for being responsible with it are going to carry through for them for a lifetime. And while there are cases of cyberbullying and online predators, statistically these are pretty rare. So the benefits far outweigh the negatives. But how bad is it really? Well, I'm just looking here at cyberbullying basically. 88% of teens have witnessed some cruelty on social media sites. And about 1 in 5 of them have been a victim of harassment in some form online. So we need to remind students how important privacy settings are and how important it is that they can block certain people from being, in on their information. We need to include cyberbullying in our acceptable use policy and our bullying policies with schools, and we need to post it in places where students will see it. It's not enough to just give them a student handbook with that stuff in it because they're going to see it. We need to work closely with the school liaison officer with the police for when there are cases of cyberbullying that do need to be investigated and they do need to be resolved. We need to educate students and their parents about what it is, what cyberbullying is, and the steps that they need to be taking at home. And we need to teach kids not to be bystanders when this happens. We need to teach them that they need to go to an adult and tell an adult what is happening online, just like they would in a playground. Well, what are the most important steps to take? I think the most important step is to enlist parents in this conversation. They're most often the first providers of any kind of technology. And social media does happen at school. Some schools are utilizing it already, but by far the largest place it's happening is at home. We need to use our time with parents wisely. When we do get them at a school board meeting or we get them at open house, we need to be prepared with a to-do list and some statistics so that parents understand the ramifications of these issues. And we need to be positive and focus on the positive aspects of social media because I think there is a lot of negative pushback, especially with parents. And what kind of steps do we need to take as teacher librarians? Well, we need to know our school policy on these issues and we need to review it often. And we need to make the changes to it as changes are occurring. It's really important to stay constant with that. We need to start our students young and we need to keep the content relevant to them. So in the younger grades, we need to be talking to students about privacy and safety online. And definitely by the time that our kids are in 11th and 12th grade, we need to be definitely having that conversation about online reputation because it's going to affect them and they may not really realize how. We need to keep up to date with the standards. And we need to collaborate with the tech teachers and the techies in our school. It's really important to stay kind of on the same page with them in terms of this. They're going to be really the first line of defense with it, I think, as kids are going into the computer labs and they're working on stuff. It's really the tech teachers who open up the window to this conversation with students. And finally, I think these two things go together. I think you need to find the right tools for teaching this kind of information to students, and you need to be comfortable with it. You yourself need to be comfortable with it, because if you're giving content out there that you don't feel great about, it's really going to show with students learning it. So it's okay to be creative. I think there's tons of resources out there for this kind of information for kids, and even if it's just something as simple as putting a few YouTube videos out there, some some, of the content on there is really great content, and it can really open up a discussion for kids. Now, I've included at the end of my presentation some great sources to share with students and for you to look through. Is it okay if I just?
Yeah, just wrap up.
Okay. So these first couple, the state's attorney's office, the Safe Side, Brain Pop, great for younger kids. There's a lot of great content on there. There's a lot of great downloads that you can do with students. As you get a little bit older, the SOS.org and Media Smarts are terrific with middle school kids. And the content on those is very relevant to them with the cyberbullying and socially, how you connect with people socially. And Common Sense Media, I mean, I cannot say enough about that. It is completely free. They have a total curriculum broken down in lesson plans. Okay. And it's free, like I said. Educator Technology, same kind of thing, but you would have to pay for that one. And thinline.org is actually an MTV site, and I just encourage everybody to just take a quick look at that because it is really, really, right on the cutting edge of what's happening with kids.
Good, thank you, Dawn.
Thank you, everyone.